Weren't there a chicken that lived without a head for like a year?
Yeah.
And they were feeding it through just straight down its neck. True story. Look it up.
Our guest today is Ben, and he is an osteopath.
What does the path bit mean?
Pathology. So osteopath means bone pathology, but we do more muscles now than bones. So
You do bones. Hang on. Oh, yeah, osteoporosis. You got that, haven't you?
No, I'm not that old.
50, when you hit 50, you get it.
Not instantly. Do you,
no,
Ben?
no.
Christ.
Are you sure?
So osteoporosis is brittle bones.
My
So-
bones are rock solid.
You know,
Go and have a squeeze, Joe.
I'm squeezing.
you can get
What do you
osteopenia,
What's
which
that?
is
Go on.
the pre-osteoporosis stage. So you might be osteopenic.
Just squeeze my forearm. Tell me what the chances are.
Yeah, definitely. No.
What?
No, I'm joking. I don't know. You can't just squeeze someone's arm and be like, "Oh yeah, no,
Ben's,
you're bucket."
Sorry, you're
Ben's first.
Ben's a professional.
Ben's first thing on here is to confirm that you've got osteopenia. Is that what? Which means,
Osteopenia.
I've got a bone fact for you.
Go
which
on.
I think you're going to enjoy. And I'm hoping that Ben can back me up on this. Did you know, Joe, we are one of very few primates not to have a bone in our penises?
Are you sure?
Gorillas have got bones in their penises.
So
Chimpanzees have got bones in their penises.
So is that the bottom of your spine, your coccyx? No, is it your coccyx? What's the
Yeah,
bottom?
your coccyx. Yeah.
So does their coccyx, when they get aroused,
No.
come through into their penis?
No, so the coccyx is where our tail used to be.
Yeah.
So their coccyx, it's not called a coccyx because it extends into their cock. It's called a coccyx because
Should be.
it's
The
just
straight
the
face
bottom
in
part.
which he just went, "You're a fucking moron. It's not called a coccyx because it comes through our cock."
Cocksish.
Right. Okay.
But no, I didn't know that. I didn't know that about.
Oh, right.
I've never treated a gorilla, so treated very hairy men, but not gorillas.
What exactly is an osteopath? So you treat bones.
So we treat the human body. So in terms of like if someone wants to come or someone has a bad back or an injury or something like that, basically the treatment of the human body.
But what's the difference between a physio,
Mm-hmm.
a doctor,
Yeah.
a chiropractor?
Yeah.
Are they all part of the same sort of cult? Sorry, not the right word. I don't know what the same. It's like what's a name for loads of badgers?
They live in a set.
They live in a
Yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't know what a collection of medical practitioners of the body are called, so I went cult.
I'm not sure about chiropractors, but osteos, physios, doctors were all part of the allied health profession or professionals. Osteopaths have only been recently added to the list. I don't know if chiros are on the list. The difference between a physio and a chiropractor and us, so basically physios are more muscles, so they work more with giving you exercises, stretches, stuff like that. Pre and post op, so you probably worked with loads of physios, Joe, yourself, pre and post injury. And then chiropractors look more at the spine, so if you've got an injury, they will look, what part of the spine is it coming from? So in your spine, you've got nerves coming off at every vertebrae, so you have 24 movable vertebrae from the top, so basically from your neck here to just above your sacrum or your pelvis, and you've got nerves that come off of every single one and they supply different parts of the body. So a chiropractor would be like, it's part of your spine not aligned or whatnot, and fix it that way. That's my understanding anyway, so I apologise to any chiropractors who go, no, that's not what we do. And then osteopaths look at the body as a whole, so we look at if parts of the body aren't working as well. So yeah, we look at the spine, but then maybe the pelvis as well. And I don't know, you might be walking slightly funny. So if we sort that out.
Why'd you
Might
look at
help.
me like that?
Wow.
Do I walk funny?
Come on. You not noticed?
Well, no, I don't watch me walk.
Joe, your body has been through quite a lot of stress and strain in the course of your rugby career. Which area of your body are you most worried about its health?
Yeah, no, my neck.
What's wrong with your neck?
I think I've got a bad neck, but I keep trying to put it off. I've gone to my physio and said, I've got a bad neck. I keep getting pins and needles in my hands when I'm driving, when I'm sleeping and lying down in particular positions. And they're like, oh, okay, we should get that looked at. And I say no. And they say, why? And I said, because I'm claustrophobic and I don't want to go on those fucking scans again.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we can do that again. We can medicate you and put you to sleep and all that. We'll get you in a big person scanner, open scanner, I mean. or a seat up scanner or something like that. And I was like, yeah, okay. To be honest, I don't really want to know.
Yeah.
I'd rather not know. And they just described it as, well, because of the compression that you've had over a numerous amount of years, the gap. So, you know your fist, if my fist is like this, Tom, which is rounded like
An obscene gesture.
yeah, actually, yeah. So it's like that. I'm doing that sign. So it used to be as big as that, but now it's like I'm squeezing the sign.
Oh.
So that's why it's trapping the nerves or something with my thing.
So what your physios are saying is probably exactly right. So because you're loose head, front row, basically being squashed for how many years have you been playing rugby?
15.
Yeah. So you will get what they call disc degeneration or narrowing of where the nerves come out.
That was the word I was looking for, narrowing.
Yeah. So narrowing of the where the nerves come through. So that's why you're getting pins and needles in your hands. Is it more one than the other, or
Mainly my right.
mainly the right?
Oh, I think, is it more pins or needles? Carry on.
Leave the shit gags to me, Tom. Why osteopath? Why did you fancy going down that route?
So I wanted to be a physio, to be fair. I didn't really know what osteopathy was, what an osteopath was.
Oh, hang on. Let's stick on that for a little bit. Osteopathy. Say it.
Osteopathy.
Ben?
Osteopathy.
Osteopathy. Hey, what do you do? Hey, I do osteopathy. Cool.
So yeah, I wanted to be a physio. Didn't know what osteopathy was or being an osteopath was, because when I was at school, I don't know if it definitely was around, but it wasn't as common as being a physio or something like that. So wanted to be a physio, didn't get the grades at A-level to be a physio, so I did a foundation degree in sports therapy. So I got my sports martial arts qualification, foundation degree in sports therapy, and then the college that I went to ran a osteopathy course as well. Then in our final year of the sports degree, they came in and said, you can come onto our degree. So I thought, well, might as well stay where I am. It's sort of what I want to do anyway. Let's see what it's about. And turns out it was exactly what I wanted to do. So I stuck with it and then got an osteopathic medicine degree.
Joe, I'd like to test you on your bone knowledge.
Fucking hit me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, how many bones are there in the human body?
218.
No, it's more than that.
Fuck off.
I'm not entirely sure. I think I don't know why 236 is in my head.
Oh, maybe he's right.
I have read, and I have no idea if this is true, Joe, because I'm not the osteopath, that we have 270 bones in our bodies at birth. But then, Ben, apparently some of these fuse.
Yeah.
So we end up with 206.
Oh, so it's a lot less than I thought. I'm the professor.
Well, yeah, of course they fuse, Tom. Your skull.
Yeah.
Okay.
They end up as like 5 or 6 plates.
Mm-hmm.
And then over time, that the little pulsing bit in a baby's head.
Oh, freaky.
They say you're not allowed to touch, but I'm there all the time like, oh my
Yeah.
God, it's so soft.
A big button.
Plus you're basically touching brain. That then fuses and then you got one bone.
Joe, I'm going to continue my bone quiz with you.
Oh, I like a quiz.
Which is the longest bone in the human body?
Your femur.
Yeah, you're looking so pleased with
Your
yourself.
femur is, I got A star in PE, mate. It's got the richest blood supply of all the bones in the body. You cut a femur in half, mate, bleeds.
Is that not the blood from having cut through to the femur in the first place?
You wouldn't know, you've never done it.
The smallest bone, please, Joe, in the human body.
Oh, yeah.
Its location.
Your ear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called the cochlea.
I'm going to give you half a point for that. The location was correct.
Can't remember what it's called. It's either your anvil or your stapedis.
I've written down a word which looks like staples, and I felt like I
Yeah.
was mispronouncing staples.
So we're going to go with
I think it's
Penis?
stapedis or something like that.
How am I doing at the quiz?
You're doing remarkably well, disappointingly well, Joe. In which area of your body is there the highest concentration of bones?
Bones with a sir.
Yeah.
Or do you mean bone?
Bones. So the most number of bones.
Most number of bones.
Yes.
So many. How many?
How many more times would you like me to say that?
Well, because I thought you meant maybe surface area of bone, because your pelvis is surface wise, but you're talking about number.
I'm talking about number, which is why I said the number.
Feet.
Yeah. Oh, no, nearly.
Near your feet.
No.
Your fingers. Your
Pretty much.
phalanges.
Your hands.
Your hands. Your hands.
54 bones in
Yep.
your wrist. You've got 26 in your feet.
Say it. Yeah, but
I would say there's
10
so
toes?
You've got 3 on each.
Question mark in your voice. There. 10 toes, is it?
3 on each toes, 25. Or no, 2 on each toe.
And then you've got the actual bone.
The bits
that
in
holds
your
your
feet.
foot.
You've got lots of bones in your feet.
Joe, I'm going to give you a choice here. So currently you have your Joe skeleton. If you could switch it for an exoskeleton, would you do it?
What's an exoskeleton?
So your skeleton on your outside.
Imagine it like plates of armour on the outside, and then everything inside is loose and squishy, rather than having your bones inside, the squishiness on top of the bones.
No, that's stupid. Because they would get broke easily.
Why?
Because they're on the outside. And I've got a shit ton of padding on over the top of that. So if you were to come at me with a chainsaw, you've got to go through at least 2 or 3 inches of fat before you hit a bone. Whereas if I've got my skeleton on the outside and you come at me and you go, that's my rib cage chopped up.
It's a no, is it?
I'd say so.
Okay, let's move on.
What are some of the different problems? So if I'll obviously come to you with a neck issue or my hip issue or the fact that my skeleton is on the outside rather than the inside, and you probably come up with a solution for that. But what are the most common problems that patients come to see you about?
So it's a lot of lower back pain, lumbar spine issues, and then probably followed by neck, so upper neck, shoulders, and then mid-back issues. But especially over lockdown and stuff, it was a lot of lower back stuff because people were then working from home, sitting at kitchen tables on hard chairs and not really getting up and exercising, and then they'd come in and go, oh, my back's buggered, and can you help me? 9 times out of 10 the answer is yes.
Tom, you suffered, I don't know if you're still suffering from it, but you suffered from being incredibly smug all your life.
I did, yeah.
And,
I've still got it.
And as well as sciatica. Was it sciatica you had problems with your back?
It's horrible sciatica.
You just described to me, Ben, and the listeners what exactly was going on?
My sciatica, Ben and listener, was unbelievable shooting pains down the back of my leg. But the most intense, because it's a nerve pain, Joe. Imagine, I describe it to my kids as like having terrible toothache in your legs. You know, that level of toothache where your whole head feels like it's exploding.
Yeah.
It was bad.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Why would you say that to your kids?
So they don't sit at a desk for 25 years of their life typing like I have.
Fair.
Yeah.
Really fair. Okay.
Do you think you feel more or less pain than the average person?
I suffer more pain than the average person. Yes, I do.
Why?
Because I put myself in situations that causes me pain.
Let me rephrase that. If you were put in the same position as another person, are you more sensitive to pain or are you harder?
Name the position.
Loose head.
No. Name
All right.
position.
Okay, so you, Jamie George,
Yeah.
and Mako Vunipola
Yeah.
are all you're all in a row and someone is squeezing your arms in a vice. Who cracks first?
Jamie George.
Does he? Why?
He's got really tiny noodle arms.
Ben, is that an issue then if you're treating people because you can't feel their pain?
Yeah, of course. So constantly me asking if what I'm doing is too hard or too soft, or are you... So I normally work on a scale, like if what I'm doing is maybe past like a 7 out of 10, then just tell me. But some people you can tell from their body language, so you'll be like massaging their back and they sort of start squirming or like moving around. But yeah, so it's a constant back and forth of is this hard enough or is it too painful? And then and I know how that sounds. So it's constant back and forth of asking them, just relaying with them if it's an okay treatment, and if it's too painful then you can ease off.
So is massage your most common form of treatment that you'll use?
So it's a tool, yeah. So because my background sports therapy, obviously I did sports massage first, so I do a lot of sports massage, soft tissue work, and then I would go from that to what we call articulation. So
talking
massage
to the bones.
Making sure that they articulate every word, yeah.
So shit. I'm sorry.
So so you work on the soft tissues first, and this is why I do it, is because the muscles connect to the bones and act on the bones. So if we are then going to do what we call manipulation or adjustment or clicking or whatnot, we then soften it up so it's easier to move when we get to that stage. And then the articulation is a lower form of bone movement, if you like. So where you are at a joint and you're moving that joint without the muscles input, so it's more relaxed and easier to move, so then you can get more movement through it. So if someone is what we call acute, so in a lot of pain, so like with yourself, with your sciatica, I wouldn't have necessarily clicked you or manipulated you or whatever, if you like, the first treatment. You would have done some gentle articulations to get the bones moving, as well as the soft tissue to the muscle, in order for you to feel a bit better. And then the next session, it would be like, right, Tom, I'm going to try something a bit more reserved, if you like. So the first treatment would be more reserved, and then the second treatment would be more or less reserved, if you like, in terms of doing the clicking.
I'm going to say some different types of massages.
Yeah.
And I'd like you, Ben, to either say whether it's good, useful, or bad. Okay.
I'll try, yeah.
So massaging someone with your feet. You
Yeah.
know, you sometimes you get those really small people that are jumping up and down on you. Any good?
I don't know. I've never had one, but my justification for it not being as good maybe is because you can't feel as much with your feet. So, yeah, okay, you can.
Sorry, I'm feeling Tom's leg
Joe's
with my
put his
foot.
naked right foot on my
I've got
leg.
quite good feeling feet. My naked right foot.
Yeah. It's right at the top of my thigh.
Why are you so creeped out by
I wasn't
one of my best
expecting it.
attributes, as described by you?
I just think you should have flagged up the fact you were about to place your massive naked right foot on my
You
top
got
of my
such
leg.
A weird thing about feet. Okay, so feet not so good because you can't really tell.
I
what
guess
you're
if
doing.
you trained a lot and for a very long time, because you see people, they do amazing things with their feet, painting and playing music, writing songs, whatever. But the people that you go to a shop and they just hop up on a table and walk along your back.
No good. Elbows.
Well, elbow massage, yeah, it's great.
Good.
So it saves your hands. So
Yeah.
it's good for getting into fleshy areas.
Yeah,
So
your
your
glute.
back, your glutes,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, your legs. And it is lots of pressure on your hands when you're doing massage, obviously.
I like it when
and
they get me
treatment.
on my front, and then they like put their elbow in my buttock,
Yeah,
my arse, my what's the actual muscle called?
gluteus
My
maximus.
gluteus maximus, and they bend my leg up,
And then
they're like moving it around whilst they really go hard at my elbow.
Yeah, so they're probably working on what your piriformis, so a muscle, one of your glutes in your, or one of, yeah, a muscle in your glutes called your piriformis, which it actually does external rotation or helps externally rotate the hip. So
Wonderful, I like that one. So that's a good. Feet bad, elbows good. Mechanical,
in terms of like massage guns and stuff like that,
massage guns, some of those chairs that you can get for your car or your seat at home, or vibrator.
or vibrator, yeah. So all of those in small doses, good. Some people really overdo it with, like, especially the massage chairs, because they think, oh, the more the better. So they really like lean into it and really be like, oh yeah, it's getting into the bits I want it to get into, and then
Keep going.
and then they come to me and say, oh look, I bought myself a massage chair and their back's bruised because they've been hammering it too much.
Joe, have you got a massage gun at home?
No,
Okay, long answer. Makes me think you have. What?
no, I think I did have at one point, but it didn't last. I had this like, it was actually a small one, and I had loads of different attachments.
Yep.
Like a big, long, thin one that would do your legs
Mhm.
or wherever, like a bigger surface, or a tiny little
Yeah.
round ball one. And there was actually, genuine, I shit you not, I'll try and get a picture of it, a finger attachment.
Finger attachment.
Yeah,
It might have been a thumb actually.
yeah, it's a
but
thumb.
a thumb. Sorry, there was a thumb attachment that I put on the end of this gun, and Daisy borrowed it because she said she had a sore back, and I haven't actually seen that since. So mechanical can be good, but not
In small doses.
in small
yeah.
doses. Hot stones.
Yeah, Again, they're really good, yeah. So heat helps draw blood to muscles and to areas, which is why you would advise someone to heat maybe tight muscles or something like that. So a hot stone massage, yeah, great.
And if you didn't have access to hot stones, maybe just just in between, you're just breathing on someone's back.
Yeah.
Just
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't. That's more of aromatherapy and more of a what you would call a
Sensual.
nice massage, a sensual
okay.
massage.
So that.
But they do help, yeah.
What about Nuru?
No.
Explain, Joe.
Yeah, explain.
Well, I think from Ben's laugh, I don't have to explain it to Ben. But the fact that you've got a slightly blank face on your face.
On my
Sorry.
face.
The fact that you've got a slightly blank expression on your face says that you're not accustomed to Nuru massages.
How are we spelling it?
N-U-R-U.
Okay, tell me more. Is it an acronym?
So what with this one, it's you'd get a lilo, like a blow up lilo, and you would lie on it, naked, and then the person that gives that massage, the practitioner, shall we call them, they would lie on top of you,
Oh,
naked,
okay.
I don't think you could call them a practitioner.
with well, they're practicing something.
Yeah, but
I
that.
know. And then they're using all parts of their body
parts.
to massage all parts of your body. What's the best kind of chair for back problems, do you think?
So one with good lumbar support. So lumbar support being your lower back.
Immediately we say,
yeah, we
what's
sit
the
up.
back thing? Everyone sits up.
Sit up a little
Posture is obviously one of the
Massive.
biggest things to causing back issues, is it?
Yeah, so posture is one of the biggest causes, of back issues.
What about, my spine has been described as, I can't remember which one it was. I want to say scoliosis. What's scoliosis?
So scoliosis is a side bend of the spine. So
No. What's the other one then?
kyphosis.
Is that when I'm like hunched?
Yeah.
So go with what scoliosis is first.
So scoliosis is where, so normally you imagine a spine, it's like an S shape. Scoliosis is where it's like an S shape, but the other way. So side bend instead of forward and back. It still has a forward and back, but then it has a little, almost like a kink, if you like.
So that's no good.
Swoop in.
Do you know who had scoliosis?
Go on.
Usain Bolt.
What?
Did he?
The runner?
Yeah.
What? Did he have it straightened or did he?
It gave him
Run
hamstring
with it.
problems, but he was all right if he had it treated and massaged. He'd be all right.
Fuck me dead.
Wow.
Did not know that. Christ, yeah. Imagine if he didn't have that. Unbelievable. What's the other one? Kyphotic.
Kyphosis or
Kyphosis.
yeah. So you have kyphotic and lordotic curves, so kyphosis and lordosis. So one's going forward and one's where it comes in again. But you can get hyperkyphosis, which is really extended like that. Normally their butt sticks out a bit more. That's a lordosis.
But if as soon as we mentioned like our posture and that, we all sat up straight away.
Yeah.
But that's uncomfortable sitting up straight. You know when you're always told, oh, you
Yeah.
sit up straight, and you're like, but that's uncomfortable. Why can't I just not
But
slouch, but just surely there's somewhere in between. That way can't
Yeah,
be good for you.
But
sat
the
upright.
reason it's uncomfortable is because the muscles aren't strong enough to hold you up like that. So
Oh.
we're like, the muscles are then struggling. So then we're like, oh, sod this, I'm going to slunch back down because that's happy and normal. But if you trained yourself and over time sat up straight, you would go for longer and longer periods of time of better posture. It's just that we get tired.
I get uncomfortable though when you're doing that, mainly because I worry that I'm trying to alpha people by sticking my chest out and things. So then
You are a little bit.
I try and just
Be
Go
meek.
go back in your shell.
go back in. Hello, I'm a turtle. Meow.
That feels like a very natural point, bearing in mind we're talking about bones, to have a little break.
Ladies and gentlemen, people of the world, the Joe Marler Show is going on tour in 2023. Like, properly on tour. A real life tour. Tour. Our debut show sold out within 6 hours. What the was the line?
This time we're going even bigger.
We're getting even bigger, are we?
This time we're going even bigger! We're going to Glasgow, the London Palladium, Birmingham, Manchester, and Bristol. Cider. you'll see glorious scenes like this. This.
The Great Wall of the Giants.
And this. Go and get your tickets now. Click the link in our bio or just search for the Joe Marler Show live tour. Please.
Let's do it again. Fuck it. Let's go.
When you crack someone's back,
Yeah.
what is that noise? Is it the bone? The bone's cracking?
No.
What is it?
So it used to be believed that it was bubbles popping inside the joint, but they done it under a live MRI, and it was actually gas escaping out of the joint and bubbles forming inside the joint. So you know, like when you open like a can of, I don't know if we can product place, Coke.
That's fine.
Yeah, as many as you want. Go for it.
Yeah, when you open a can of Coke, bottle of Coke, sorry, and then it like goes, and then all the bubbles form inside because there's a chemical reaction.
Yeah.
That's what's happening when you're clicking someone.
Is it good or bad news?
It's a common misconception that it will give you osteoarthritis, but I think that has been proven now to not be the case. There's a study or a thing that I heard research. This guy clicked all the knuckles on one hand for 60 years and not on the other hand, and then he MRI'd them both and they were exactly the same.
That's quite a commitment.
It is.
Experiment.
So that's why
did
I
you say
wondered,
60?
apparently. So that's why I wonder whether, like, yeah,
That's why I wondered whether complete utter
yeah.
bullshit.
So
It's come up with that.
I got told that. I didn't then go and have a look at it myself because I don't think it is true. We were told at uni that you can run out of clicks as well, so like in your knuckles, which again I don't know if that's true.
Does it freak you out, Joe, when you're getting clicked, when your back clicks?
No, my back, it's one of the most satisfying things
Love it.
to have done. I love it. So I love it when the physios do it to me, but I love it the most when I actually do it myself, when usually the physios get me on the bed head first through the hole, and then they'll
Quite the sentence.
and then they'll like warm into it a bit, get me moving a bit, get me move it, and then they'll be like, right, take a deep breath, and I take a deep breath, and then on the exhalation, that means out. They'll give it a good
Yeah.
And my hunch, so from the middle of my back to the top of my back and neck is quite cuff-photic.
Yeah.
And they're the bits that click the most. But then I get quite a lot of tightness around my erector spinae.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah, that's right.
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Fuck yes. In the lower bit there. But I like it when I'm on my back. And say I go to do a bench press.
Yeah.
I get like 60 kg on the bar. I bring it down to my chest and then I roll my neck forward
Yeah.
as if I'm trying to look down to my groin. And with that, it just goes all down that. And it's like, like a release.
Yeah.
One of the old school England physios, Pasky, absolute legend. He's been around for fucking years. That was always his best technique to get me because he couldn't quite get it with me on my front. But then he was like 60, 65 and he'd been doing it for years. And you mentioned earlier about the toll it can take on your hands because all the movement and the pressure that you got put on. And he's put his hand underneath my back. I'd lean forward, then he'd put it in the right place, and then I'd have to lean back, and he'd sort of jump on top of me to get the right click. And then it wouldn't be me screaming. I'd be like, he'd be like, fuck! And I'd be like, what is the matter with you, Pasky? He's like, oh, it's all right, mate. It's just my hands. And they'd come out all like deformed. He's like, it's all right, mate. It's part of the job. I was like, do you want me to sip your coffee for you? And you can't pick it up like that. One of the other things he used to do to me is my neck.
Yeah.
And cracking my neck, which by the end of my career, or sort of now, I'm more comfortable with, and I've built up a good level of trust with the people that do it. But at the start, it was one of the fucking scariest things I had done to me because A, there was no trust, and B, I used to watch loads of films where all you have to do is just go and whip someone's neck really quickly and then you can kill them like that.
That's it, yeah.
And then when they were like, well, this is kind of what we're going to do, I said, oh my God, can I say goodbye to my say goodbye to my family? Is it scary for you as a professional to do it?
No.
Oh, as confident as that?
So, yeah. So I remember the first time I ever clicked someone's neck was obviously when you're learning to do it and your hands get so sweaty and and it takes so long to do it because you have to learn, like, set it up the right way and whatever. And you take your hands off a person's head and their hair's like wet with sweat from your hands because you're just so clammy. But now, I mean, I don't know how many necks I've clicked, but it's just part of it, and it's the experience of and learning to feel with your hands. That's why you would never be able to click someone with your feet, someone's neck with your feet,
Yeah,
like I said earlier.
That could really be your point of difference.
What a niche.
Think about how many people, especially feet people, they were like, cool, yeah, I fancy getting.
Do you not feel with the whole head thing? I'm always convinced my head is just going to pop off, like unscrewing the top of a bottle. It's just going to go whoosh, and I'll be looking back at my headless body.
What, like chickens?
Bit like chicken.
You know, like they when they get their head chopped off, they can still see for like an hour.
For an hour?
Yeah,
I
something
thought
like
the body kept moving for an hour. Didn't know the head could see for an hour.
Weren't there a chicken that lived without a head for like a year?
Yeah.
And they were feeding it through just straight down its neck. True story. Look it up. Look it up.
That's the sort of nonsense I expect from Joe, not from a medical professional.
You gotta look it up. I'm full of random facts as well, so but that's what I read anyway. Look it up afterwards.
It was Tom's. Oh, it was Tom's. When Ben went, yeah, they just kept putting food down it, and Tom was like, for you. Fucking want that to be so true.
I'm sure it's a long time. Might not be yet.
Tom's
a long time.
Tom's absolutely
Scurril, absolutely
none
scurrilous.
of it.
Joe, I've got another little quiz for you.
Is it about chickens?
This one, we've had our bones section of the quiz. This is the second part of our two-parter, and this is about muscles. How many muscles do you think there are in the average human body?
489.
It's a very good guess, Joe. It's 600.
Oh, cool.
That's the end of that fact. What percentage of your body weight do you think comes from, this is for the average person, do you think comes from muscle, and what percentage of your body weight comes from bones?
80% is from muscle.
Way off.
Fuck off.
40%
Oh, what?
of your body weight is muscle. A mere 14% of your total body weight is bones.
What's the rest then?
I don't know. I haven't done that in my research. But if you were to
What,
use
blood?
if you were to use the defence that you have big bones,
Yeah.
doesn't wash.
I've never used that defence.
Okay.
I've always gone on facts fuck.
Which muscle, Joe, is working non-stop?
Heart.
Correct. Which
You wanted me to do so much worse at this quiz. You're trying to make me sound stupid.
the strongest muscle in the human body, please?
Your cheeks.
Very good. It's your jaw.
Your jaw, yeah.
Jaw.
Yeah.
What could you crush with your jaws?
Not much because my teeth are so bad. I struggle eating pork scratchings, mate. What's your strongest muscle?
My strongest muscle would be something in my legs. Maybe, what's the one? Gluteus maximus.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, is that the most powerful one I've got?
I don't know.
Just
It's
guess,
the
look at my-
biggest. It's the biggest muscle in your body. So maybe.
Well, I've had an update on this chicken situation. The news just in from Ryan, the producer, is Mike, the headless chicken.
Hang on, Mike.
Mike, that's your biggest issue, is it?
Well,
Not the next part, really. Mike, the headless chicken, survived for 18 months
18
Told
months.
you.
by being fed via an eyedropper.
What? He's not even got any eyes. He's just got a head. Down the neck.
Down his neck.
What?
Just how Ben described. He went, yeah, there's sweet stuff down his neck.
What
To
sort of-
which you went, what? For a year? No way.
What sort of life is that?
And to add to that update, every May in Colorado,
Yeah.
there's a Mike the Headless Chicken
What?
Day.
Mike, Colorado.
There's a What?
Why Colorado?
That's where he's from.
He's from, like it's obvious.
No, it is obvious. Why else would they have it in Colorado?
It might just be big
Why
fans.
why am I celebrating an Inuit who has discovered an extra part of Antarctica in Heathfield?
The Inuits are in the Arctic.
Oh, God.
You literally couldn't have been further away.
Have you got any issues with touching people with your hands and their skin? Is it a bit weird to begin with, or are you absolutely fine now?
Yeah, I think so. I done a sports massage 7-8 years ago. I qualified, so I think initially maybe I can't really remember. It was like, oh God, like you're touching people, or whatever. Now, yeah, like you say, it's just a job. You're just treating people, treating their injuries, treating their bodies, and yeah.
I get occasionally. Actually, I've got quite good skin on my back, but occasionally I get a fucking giant spot
Right.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's somewhere.
Yeah.
And usually, actually, it comes after having had a massage with the oils that they use. And my skin can get, my pores can get blocked quite easily anyway. But then I'm like, oh God. And then I picture in my head whoever's doing physio or giving me a massage then, that I'm like, oh God, I wonder how it is. Have you ever come across a patient where they've got spots on their back and you're kind of like, right, how am I dealing with this one then? Or are you quite perverse and you like popping them?
No, I don't like popping them at all. So when I come across, because it does happen quite regularly, when you come across a spot on someone's back, if it's like a big juicy whitehead, I try and avoid it a lot. But then there's sometimes where you maybe don't notice it or you forget it's there, and then you accidentally pop it, and then it's like, oh God, and then it might be on your hand, and then you're like, oh. So luckily they're normally face down, so you can just sort of nip away, wipe it on
their shorts.
Wipe it on the towel. But yeah, I don't like spots.
No. Would you ever, or have you ever maybe turned to the patient and gone, get fucked, mate? You've got this giant spot on your back.
No.
But you just try and work around it, do you?
Yeah, you work around it. But flip side of that, sometimes people have moles on their back, like big moles, and because people don't see their backs regularly, you have to say, do you know about this mole? And sometimes people have said, no, I didn't. And then they've gone and got it checked out, and it turns out it was something a bit sinister. So, there is times when by telling people what you notice has then not saved their lives, but like sort of got them help if they hadn't noticed it. So
what about hair? Do you get many hairy hair? Like, I've had a couple of teammates, like, fuck me dead. They take their jumper off and then you go, you've still got a jumper on.
Like a carpet.
Like they're so hairy. So again, what's that like? I also had a masseuse that had incredibly hairy arms. Yeah. Like we're talking like head of hair on both their forearms, and you could feel it on your
like a spider leg.
Your back, like as they were working through you a bit, and you're like, I don't know about this, mate, but I felt so like not embarrassed.
Just jump
but
off the table.
I was just like, oh, all right, I'll just book him with someone else, like that.
Yeah, so you do get really hairy people, men mostly. I haven't actually had really hairy ladies, to be fair. But yeah, really hairy men, and you do find yourself with sort of like hairy hands afterwards. So and during, so one of the key things is not to sort of like scratch your head or something like that, because you wipe it off on your face, and yeah, so there is some people who, like you say, they take their shirt off and it's like they've still got one on, and yeah, you've got to just do it and then wash your hands afterwards.
What about when you are giving someone a massage in the gluteus maximus?
Yep.
And maybe the rotation movement you're doing, they have a little problem and they release something they don't want to have released.
Are you talking about if I've ever had someone let out wind?
That's basically
harsh wind.
Right, out of all of what we've spoken about on this episode, and pretty much every episode, we are somehow struggling in asking a question, have you ever had a patient fart whilst you're doing it? and we're describing it as, have I ever? Okay, fine. We'll go with the higher brow one.
What, pass wind?
Pass wind. Anyone let out a little puff?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I have. I
Oh.
did. Yeah, not when I was treating someone, so I didn't just
All
like,
right, so you
massaging
confirmed you
their back
farted
and
before.
like sort of. Sorry about that. No, so when I was studying, we were learning. We were doing so one of my colleagues was doing the thoracic adjustment. You know where you get leant on, and so when you breathe in and out, it sort of relaxes everything. He forgot to ask me to breathe out, and he just done it. So everything was stored. And then he done it, and I'd farted. And for some reason at that point, the class was silent. And everybody turned and laughed and whatever. And I was there like, you just have to own it, don't you, I think? And you're just like, yeah, that was me. And, yeah, every time I see them, don't let me forget it.
Do you find that when people come in for treatment or a massage, people undress at different speeds? They have different thresholds for what they consider the right amount of clothing to remove?
Yeah. So most people, obviously most people are fine. So you say like take off your t-shirt, or if you're wearing shorts, undress to your shorts, and it's fine. There was one instance when I was studying, and there was a guy. So we said to him, "Can you undress we're going to step out, undress into your underwear, and then we come back in." And the way the clinic is set up is that student clinic set up is that there's little. It sounds really weird, but it's little, like, you know, on the front door you have the little peephole so you can see who's at the front door. There was them on the clinic doors, so you could see if they're ready for you to go back in. And I looked into the hole, and he was stark naked. So I was like, right. So I just poked my head round, didn't look at him, and said, "Oh no, keep your underwear on." To which he replied, "I wasn't wearing any, so I'm not wearing any." And we were like, right, okay, because we used to do them in pairs, so maybe things like this, you had a bit of backing sort of thing. And then so we were just like, oh, okay. So we gave him a towel, I think, and stuff like that. If it was me now, I'd just be like, put your trousers back on. But when we were studying, it was very much you had to see the whole body to try and figure out exactly what was going on. So, but not that much of the whole body. So yeah, but nowadays, no, it doesn't really happen. Like people keep their underwear on or their clothes on, or only take off what I ask them to take off rather than just trying to guess.
What's your technique, Joe?
To what?
To being massaged?
To being massaged?
If you're being massaged,
yeah,
what would you instinctively undress?
I'll whip my top off.
That's it.
Well, I don't get anything else rubbed.
What about when you're getting your glutes done? You said with your elbow in the glutes.
Yeah, they just go through my shorts, mate.
Sore hamstring?
I don't get sore hammies.
Quads?
You don't move. I don't move quick enough to get sore hammies, and I don't get sore quads because I don't. And also, actually, occasionally when I have had this, actually goes back to the point on some patients get a little bit insecure about it, but I don't get my quads done because I've got really spotty quads, and I'm insecure about them. And whenever I get them done, it makes them even spottier. So I'm like, I'd much rather be in pain than you touch me.
That might be my single favourite quote that you've ever come out with, because it sums up so much about you.
That I'd much rather be in pain than you touch me.
Yeah. I'd rather be in pain than you touch me.
I have, albeit through my shorts, in my pants, where I had tendinopathy.
Tendinopathy, yeah.
Tendinopathy. Is that in my... You can have it anywhere, but I had it in my glute hammy.
So it's at the tendinous junction.
Yes, in my arse, in my glute.
Yeah.
And it's really... So when they were trying to assess it all, they were...
It's the gesture you're making with your finger. It's reminiscent of something else.
Well, that's because that's exactly how they did it.
Oh.
They were like... They was work their way out from the glute, and it was getting closer and closer to...
Popping.
Right, because where it is, if you picture yourself sitting on your floor and you've got no clothes on,
Okay.
and then you're feeling like the bone, so it's like the end of the femur, the top end of the femur that
And then your partner comes
that
in.
goes into your thing. Am I what?
Your partner walks into the room.
I'm trying to be sensible here.
Sorry.
So your sitting bone, is that what
Your
you're saying?
sitting bone, it's
Yeah.
right. It was
So it's
right
called your
on the-
ischial tuberosity.
Yeah, so I
sitting
had to
bone.
get it right there, and they had to treat it by
rubbing it.
rubbing it and going harder. And there was occasions where I was like, "Whoa, steady there. I'm all for a bit of pegging, mate, but it has to be consent, and I'm not comfortable doing it in front of everyone else at the minute." So they've just go a little bit easier with the rubbing to loosen it up. But even then, that's through my pants, so it's fine. That's my technique. I've never gone the whole hog and fucked up like that. Although when Daisy says to me, "Oh, you get massages all the time," there's everything, and I'm like, "They're not. These aren't nice massages, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like these are sports massages. They're actually painful, but perversely, I like somehow." The harder they are and the more painful they are, the more I feel like I'm getting out of it.
Well, that's exactly it. I think people, again, it might sound a bit sadistic, but people like the pain because that's sort of, oh, I know it's working, no pain, no gain sort of thing. Too much pain can have an adverse effect. So if you're hurting someone too much, they're tense up. You're trying to relax the muscles, but then they're tensing the muscles up. So then it's not having the effect you want it to have.
Is there any part of you as the professional practitioner that actually quite enjoys inflicting a certain level of pain on someone as he drinks his glass of water and he doesn't make eye contact and goes, "Well, funny."
No. Everybody know. Well, I make it clear that my aim isn't to hurt the person, or hurt you. And I always start off my treatments by saying, if anything I do is too painful, just let me know. My aim isn't to hurt you, but because of the nature of the treatment, and you're asking me to treat an injury that is causing you pain, then it will hurt to a certain extent, possibly. But just let me know if it's too much, and I'll ease off a little bit. So I always start off with that. And then, like I say, we always relay with each other, or I always relay with them.
Joe, are you someone who likes to give out massages?
No,
Okay, that ends that possible section.
no, I can't. I'm not.
You got strong arms, strong hands.
Yeah, I like getting my elbow in someone when they're on the bed and that, and then I'll give the old attempt at trying to click them. I don't really know how to find. You know how you talk about, oh, you got a knot in there, or that looks a bit stiff. I'm like, how do you know that? But then I guess you learn to feel that as you're going through your training.
You get, and the more you have worked and the more experience you get, the more sensitive your fingertips get, I guess, and your palpation skills is what we call them. So people ask me that all the time. How do you know that's tight? Oh, how do you know that my left side's tighter than my right side? And it's just through feel and through experience of knowing. So,
Do you do any reflexology? Is that any technique that you...
I don't do reflexology, but we do have a reflexologist where I work.
And what exactly is it? Something to do with your stinky...
with
We
your
were talking
feet.
about stinky
Yeah.
feet earlier, weren't we?
This is what I think it is. So it's treating the feet to help other parts of the body. So apparently different parts of your feet are associated with different parts of your body. So
Get your feet off me, Marler. Put those plates away.
so it's treating those areas to help with other parts of the human body. Apparently.
Are you a believer in some of the alternative therapies, Joe?
Name some.
Okay. The following is a list of unusual massage treatments. Okay. You have to say yes to one of the following. Snakes.
Piss off.
Okay. Cactus.
Ah. What, like acupuncture?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. I like a bit of acupuncture, but I don't know how that works. They shove a needle in me.
Yeah.
They let me stay there for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
They take them out. I'm sore as fuck. And then a few hours later, I'm like, oh my God, that feels much better.
So when you get acupuncture, who does it? Is it your physio or is it an acupuncturist?
Someone who's qualified in acupuncture.
So like a physio or someone like myself, we would do dry needling, which is medical acupuncture,
Right.
which is different to traditional acupuncture, where they can treat a whole host of like systemic things like I don't know, but like it goes back. That's the Chinese acupuncture.
Is the dry needling the one where you move it in and out,
Yeah.
and then you try and find that you're moving it around and you find the trigger point?
Basically, so what you're trying to do, and this is what I understand by it, is that you're creating a false injury site, because you would normally dry needle like tendinous junctions, which the blood supply isn't that great. So you would create a false injury site to encourage blood to go to that area, and then like you say, you jig it around and twist it.
Oh, not like that, Tom. No.
No, I've had it done. It freaks me out. As long as they're not seeing it, I don't mind what they do.
Yeah.
I just don't want to look down and see it.
I had my neck all the way down to like the middle of my back, and my traps just all lined with needles, either side. And I was left on the bed. They said, "Oh, we'll leave you there for about 10, 15 minutes. We'll be back in a minute." And after a while, I dozed off a little bit, but then came back to it. And then I was like, "Fucking hell, I've been here for ages." And I'm screaming. I'm like, "Rich!" The physio. That's it. I wasn't just shouting, "Rich." No one was coming. No one could hear me. They'd left me in one of the corner physio rooms. And, fucking hell, I'd been there like 25 minutes, half hour now, and I was starting to stiffen up where I was lying.
Yeah,
and all that.
yeah.
And I thought, fuck it. And I got up, and then I walked into the other physio room where they were treating.
With the needle still in your
All
back.
the needles are still in my neck and in my back. And they were like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I went, "What?" They were like, "Don't move." I'm like, "What are you on about?" They're like, "You've got needles going all the way down your neck, all the way down your back. Big needles. If you move in the wrong way or you lean into something that'll go straight into your lung." I was like, "They're tiny fucking needles, mate. That doesn't matter. Do not move." I was like, "Oh my God." Started shitting myself. Slowly lowered me down on the bed. They pulled all these needles out. And they're like, "What the fuck?" I said, "You left me in." They were like, "Yeah, we're not going to lie. We forgot about you." It was quite nice to have a bit of peace, actually. I was like, "Oh, fine." So back to cactus. So yeah, I'd enjoy one of them.
So it's a no to snake. It's a yes to cactus. What about something that is done in some parts of the Far East called Dao Leo, which is
Is
using
that spelled with a T?
no T's in Dao
Oh.
Leo, which is using the edges of a meat cleaver.
What?
So
Do they make little cuts on
no,
it?
they just sort of scrape. You know, like you have fascial release sometimes.
Oh, you like that, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit like that, where they're not going in with a sharp bit, but they're sort of scraping against your skin. Yes or no?
Quite like the sound of it.
Okay.
Yes.
Elephant massage, where an elephant stands on you, but because elephants have apparently a very delicate touch, Joe, they know exactly how much pressure to put on your back. Trust it or not, massive trust issues for you there.
An elephant puts their foot on my back, even with a gentle touch.
Is that a yes?
It's fucking... Yeah, I'll do it when I'm 65 and I'm ready to shuffle off this world.
Okay. It's quite young to die anyway, but we'll move on. Your final option is a giant snail. So if you want a face massage, apparently you can put 3 giant snails on your face, and the
slime is really good for you, apparently. Would you like to be slimed all over your face by a giant snail, basically, is the question.
Out of all the things we've discussed in the last 2.5 years, that is single-handedly the most disgusting thing you've ever asked of me.
So you would do it?
That is fucking disgusting, mate. Just picturing a snail walking across my cheek, across my fucking nose. It would treat my nose like a mountain, wouldn't it?
Well, what if
Climb that.
No,
what if
they're
it treated
massive.
your nose like a cave, and it had a little look in your nose and went a little explorer up there? Then its shell would get stuck.
You're making me feel awful. That
And then
is
you'd be trying to
disgusting.
breathe, so you'd open your mouth slightly.
Are there people doing that?
Yeah.
Is that oh my
Yeah,
God.
they do.
How's that even? That's not even massaging.
No, it's the stuff that's in their slime is good for your face, apparently.
I've got my own slime that's good for my face. I've tried it. Stinks a bit.
How much would you have to be paid? Let's say it's for charity.
To eat
Not to
snail
eat it.
cum.
No. Well, all that. I was
Okay.
thinking more just having snails on your face.
How much
So-
would I have to be paid?
Yeah,
For
or
charity.
It's for charity, yeah. So it's 3 massive snails, and they get to have half an hour doing what they want on your face.
How, right, the size of the snail?
Let's say it is the size of a child's fist.
How big's the child?
5.
Did you say they're African land snails though?
No, but we could do that for
Yeah,
more
they
money.
were massive.
Fucking hell, Ben. What are you chiming in for with these snails?
And they're hermaphrodites, so they have sex with themselves.
On my face?
So 3 of them would all be able to do it on your face.
So essentially they'll be sick because there's 3 of them, but because they're boy and girl, there's actually 6 of them. And they're all... there's
6 genitalia on your face, yeah. You can Google that again, Ryan. I'm pretty sure.
So you've got 6 hermaphrodites. Hang on, 3 hermaphrodites, so 6 sets of genitals.
I'd do it for $5,000.
Seriously?
Yeah. Oh, you think you can get it together?
Yeah, we
If we start a crowdfunding page
A crowdfunding page.
on this podcast to get 3
And we would
African
donate
land
our money
snails
to which charity?
to the charity of your choice.
Okay. How big are these African land
Oh,
snails?
they're big.
Oh, they're massive.
And they're all over your face with their 6 sets of genitalia.
Stop saying that out loud.
Shake my hand. Shake my hand. All right, we've got that on camera. That is happening.
There you go.
Ben,
No,
you've
sorry.
created a new business, have you?
Yeah, so alongside what I do, it's an online platform.
What's it called?
It's called Health I Need Somebody.
Right, you haven't really committed to that.
I can't sing.
Okay, Tom, do you mind just reading what it's called?
Reading it or singing it?
Same.
Health, I need somebody,
Health,
not just anybody.
health,
You know I need someone.
health.
Continue, Ben.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, brilliant. No, that was good.
You're welcome.
Thank you. There you go. I do a thing for you, you do a thing for me.
Yeah, yours seems worse. It's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, Health I Need Somebody is a new online platform that I've just created. And it's basically, I guess you can liken it to Checker Trade, but for health professionals. So someone like you guys might say, oh, I've got a back pain. I need to find someone in my local area that deals with back pain, and you can find the person nearest you. And I know you might be like, oh, Google does that or whatever, but with ours, it can be, you can search by symptom, which you can't do with you can't do Google, oh, I've got this pain, this specific thing, let me find someone, or Google, and let me do that again.
Yeah.
You can't Google by specific symptom and find the person that does that specific symptom. So with us, with Health I Need Somebody, you can select from a drop down of symptoms, do it by postcode, do it by specialism, or do it by the name of the person. So yeah, it's a way of advertising health professionals, but it's also a way of members of the public it's an easier way for them to find people who can help them, basically.
And presume you can give feedback as well, so that the way you described it as a Checker Trade type
Yeah, so that's
system,
something that we're working on.
Right.
So it will become a feature, so you can review the person. So like you say on Checker Trade, you can review the tradesman or whatever. Then you can review
And how many African land snail specialists?
I don't know, but I might have to add that on now.
Ben, thank you very much for coming on and talking all sorts of nonsense about osteopathy. You want to do it again?
Osteopathy.
You go, Ben.
Osteopathy.
And together, 1, 2, 3.
Osteopathy. We've had a cracking time.
Don't
Oh,
fucking
spoiled it.
ruin it.
Spoiled
We've had a cracking time. It's not a proper crack, it's a click, you twat. We've had a clicking time.